My name is Pat McGinnis, and welcome to Tuscarora Talks, Episode 5. In this episode, I would like to clear up some of the statements made by appointed Township Supervisor Bob Robert A. Kramer, U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel, retired, during the board comment portion of the Township regular meeting on April the 2nd of 2024. First, let's listen to what Mr. Kramer said on the record, and I will come back, and as Paul Harvey used to say, tell you the rest of the story.
Well, unfortunately, I'm compelled to denounce yet another diatribe by Mr. McGinnis with his spread of lies, hate-fueled fear-mongering, and yes, fake news in our political landscape. We can't turn a blind eye anymore to the damage by those who peddle falsehoods, sow seeds of division. Their actions, and his specifically, have led to the loss or delay of investment in our community, have driven away volunteers who would otherwise be eager to serve. The poisonous rhetoric, month after month, of hate and fear with no solutions serves only to tear at the very fabric of this community. Further, when we consider the history and violence and manipulation, one must question what is this playbook? I mean, is it just total destruction, scorched earth, or is it something else? I mean, is it driven by the desire to profit from clickbait? Many of you may not be aware that on these social media platforms, the more you click can lead to financial gain. So on YouTube, for example, if you get enough clicks, you start monetizing those clicks. The more lies you spread, the more people click, the more money you make eventually. It's a dangerous game, monetizing hate at the expense of truth and decency.
First, I want to be very clear on this point. My wife Jane and I have never made one penny off the videos we create and post covering township events. Jane and I first started recording Township's regular meetings, Township special meetings, and Township's regular meetings in November of 2005. At that time, we would make DVDs of the meetings and deliver a copy of these DVDs to the Township's clerk and the Township's library for people to check out and view in their homes or in the library. As time went by and YouTube became more available, we started posting the Tuscarora Township's meetings there. We continued this practice for many years and have never asked for or received any money for our time and effort. Shortly before this new board took over, Jane received a phone call one evening from Janet Vance, who asked if we planned to continue filming the meetings. We told Janet Vance that yes, we planned to continue filming. Janet Vance said that the Township Board would be glad to pay us our going rate for our service. We said no need to pay us because we considered filming the meetings a good thing for the community. Janet then said that the board would rather pay us, and they were also wanting to start doing a live stream of the meetings. Once again, we said no to the money, and we also said we did not think that the township was ready to do a quality live stream video production. After that phone call, Jane and I decided that it might be best to start filming all of the township meetings. This would include the DDA, the Parks Commission, the Planning Commission, and now the EDC. Boy, are we ever glad that we turned down their offer to pay us for the filming of the meetings, as we had been doing for more than a decade. The reason we were glad that we turned down their offer to pay us is because what we did not know at the time is that the new board had been holding meetings and drafting new policies which would cover all township employees and volunteers once they took over. If we had taken their money, they would have had total control over what we could film and show during the township meetings, and they could limit what we said during public comments and anywhere on social media. Going back to the meeting, during the public hearing portion, Sally Snyder asked if she could ask a question.
We're going to have a public hearing on the 6-year capital improvement plan that was published on the web. Is there anyone that would like to speak as to the public improvement plan?
Can we ask questions?
It's just a hearing. You can make any statements you want.
Sorry.
I will say the board will make no decision. We're just listening to the public.
No, I just need to know what, is it on?
Push down and hold it.
I just need to know what a few things are, that's all. The West Burt Lake boat launch, is that Resort Road? Where is it?
That's a parks question.
You mean you're not gonna answer it for me?
Not now. You can talk to me later. This is just public comment time. Public hearing time.
It's a public hearing, so I wanna know, that should be my chance to ask questions, right?
No.
It's public comment, and this is public hearing.
Go ahead. I'm hearing.
I don't find that humorous, Bob.
I'm not being humorous.
Then if you're gonna publish these, then you need to be more descriptive. Because you shouldn't have given me the piece of paper at all, because it doesn't say anything on it. How would a resident who didn't live on the west side of Burt Lake, which I assume that's where this park is, be sure to know where it is, and you're saying to them, okay, here's a public hearing, come tell me what you think. Only you don't bother to tell them where it is.
Well, it's in the parks plan. I do know that. It's in the 5-year parks plan.
Well, it says the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't tell me. When we talk about transparency, I think information is important.
So
And
do
when we
I.
got a piece of paper that looks like this,
So do I.
that doesn't have any information on it but titles. That's my same objection when we get to the agenda, because I read the package. I applaud you for sending the package, but the agenda doesn't tell you what it is. I'm not interested in commenting, thank you.
Anyone else?
I feel that Bob's comments to Sally were an outright lie, and his smirk as he told this lie was about as disrespectful to a person he was appointed to represent as I have ever seen from this board. Another reason I thought Bob was lying, because at the March 5th, 2024 Township regular meeting, Bob said this.
So, I don't want a problem down the road, just so everybody understands that the Parks Commission has to agree that this funding is going to come from that special fund of $66,000 with any overflow from their budget. Otherwise, the purchase will not be made. That's what we're saying, correct?
Let's watch how the Parks Commission board reacted to the total lack of control that Bob claimed he had over the Parks Commission.
So the truck thing you were talking about,
Right.
our township has decided that they are no longer purchasing the truck, or it's no longer coming out of the budget the way it was. It was a capital improvement
Yes.
that they were going to cover.
Correct.
And as of the last township meeting, they are no longer doing that.
They're wanting it to come out of the 66,000 from our fund balance.
The 66,000 from our fund balance, technically by law, is to use for improvements and things such as that, which yes, the truck would be an improvement, but that would take us pretty much to zero.
The Township Board had already approved $70,000 from the General Fund CIP budget, but when Bob forced the Parks to take the $66,000 out of another account, the Parks then had no money left for the bathroom repairs and other projects that Parks wanted to have completed before the heavy summer season. To me, that looks like Bob has total control over the Parks Department, And as a former member of the Parks Commission Board, I saw a number of times where Bob forced agenda items that he wanted upon us, even though we were against them. Going back to the previous topic, where Bob showed total disrespect and lied to Sally Snyder, I addressed Bob during public comments and told him why I thought he was lying.
Public comment. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name's Patrick McGinnis. I wasn't planning on making any comments, but I think Mr. Kramer's treatment of Sally Snyder tonight was not in best form for this board. I say that based in part when Mr. Kramer was first running for trustee, he made promises to people in his campaign on the west side that he would have parks put something in on the west side. And when he was questioned, where would it go, because we don't own any property there, he said, don't worry, it will happen. After he became trustee, he came before the Parks Commission and told them if they did not include a west side project on the 5-year plan, he would make sure that their 5-year plan would never get submitted, never be approved. He even came up with a $15,000 cost for this project. So with all this being said, for Mr. Kramer to sit here tonight and to say he has no idea where this project would be, I think was a little insulting to Ms. Snyder. And I think, once again, I'd say she deserves an apology, but we all know Bob Kramer refused to apologize to my wife, refused to apologize to Don Webb, refused to apologize to Beth Henderson, and I could go on and on and on all night. Because you're that type of person. Yeah, sit there with that smirk on your face like you had when you were dissing Sally Snyder tonight. That shows us all what type of person you are. Thank you for your time.
Public comment.
As can be clearly heard, I only called Bob out for his lie about having no control over the parks and his disrespect of Sally Snyder during the public hearings portion of the same meeting and his disrespect for others. During the board comment portion of this meeting, Bob, as usual, did not address my comments concerning his treatment of Sally or his lies about my wife, Dawn Webb, Beth Henderson, and many other individuals of this community. Let's watch what Bob had to say during board comments.
And we have one individual in this room. It's just constant misinformation. I don't have any friends, right? I'm the township supervisor. Nobody likes a township supervisor, right? No, just kidding. But I'm sorry that you have to go through this unhinged tirade every meeting. But the lies and the falsehoods just continue. And as I keep telling people over and over again, I publish my personal phone on the website. I've had people call me 10 o'clock at night, no problem, and I will call you back. Okay, but this stuff about, oh my gosh, I wasn't guilty. The charges against me for causing a disturbance at the May meeting, justice was served because the charges were dropped. Well, that went on forever. The charges weren't dropped. There was a deferred prosecution agreement that required 25 hours of community service and 6 months probation. So there's two sides to every story, folks. Give me a call.
Can I respond?
No, you cannot. Sit down.
Straightly? Just as you heard, Bob never addressed the comments I made earlier. Bob went online and continued to attack Jane and I and accused us of making up lies about township events just to make money. This is totally false. Fake news. Sour grape, as Bob likes to say. Bob knew we were not making any money off of these videos because Bob already knew that we turned down his attempt to pay us or buy us off for filming the meetings. And as he has often recounted in his vast media experience, Bob clearly would know YouTube's policy on monetization. If you want to start earning ad revenue, your channel will need to have generated 4,000 hours of YouTube watch time over the past 12 months and have at least 1,000 subscribers. Meanwhile, YouTube inserts ads on uploaded videos without any input or control of the YouTube channel owner. YouTube is making the money, not us.
I mean, is it driven by the desire to profit from clickbait? Many of you may not be aware that on these social media platforms, the more you click can lead to financial gain. So on YouTube, for example, if you get enough clicks, you start monetizing those clicks. The more lies you spread, the more people click, the more money you make eventually. It's a dangerous game, monetizing hate at the expense of truth and decency.
No, Bob does what he does best. He doubles down and continues to tell lies, defame individuals, tries to ruin people's reputation, tries to get them arrested, lies to the police about events that happened at other township meetings. The township board has told the police that the township board wanted me banned from the meetings and to be stopped from filming the meetings. As you just heard, Bob never addressed the comments I made earlier. Bob just went into his normal mode. Bob just likes to double down, continue to lie, defame not just me, but anyone who tries to stand up to him. Bob tries to ruin reputations, and Bob will lie to the police, trying to get anyone who questions him arrested, and if that does not work, Bob will get his followers to start a letter-writing campaign to the Sheboygan County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, hoping to get them arrested. Bob's newest attempt to shut me up is sending what I consider to be his goon squad after me, trying to get me to react so that his squad could overreact and start a fight and blame me for starting it. I have documented these actions 3 times now with the local police. One time I made a report to the police the afternoon before the meeting on March 5th, 2024, telling the police that I expected to be attacked at that evening meeting. Let's watch Bob's comments during board comments of that meeting and see if he concur that Bob was trying to bait me, wanted me to give him a reason to call the police.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't guilty. The charges against me for causing a disturbance at the May meeting, justice was served because the charges were dropped. Well, that went on forever. The charges weren't dropped. There was a deferred prosecution agreement that required 25 hours of community service and 6 months probation. So there's 2 sides to every story, folks. Give me a call.
Can I respond?
No,
since
you
you're
cannot.
correcting
Sit
me
down.
straightly?
You had your
It was
chance.
dismissed.
Sit down.
At the end of Bob's comments, I did ask if I could respond, and as you've heard Bob say, no, you had your chance. And as he leaves the room, he says that man is going to jail. And then Bob proceeds to call the police. What you do not see or hear, because I stopped filming after Bob left the room, is 2 of what I refer to as Bob's goons, also known as Rod Grandy and Hap Herpel, rushed me while I was at my camera position and tried to get me to react to their actions. I am sure that if I did anything at all in response to their act of aggression, they would have felt that I had opened the door for them. At that moment, my wife Jang and I were afraid for our safety, and I believe we would have been attacked except 2 citizens who were attending the meeting stepped between them and my wife and me and asked them to stop. A township official approached Rod Grandy and Hab Herpel and told them, "Come on guys, let's leave. The police are on their way." One other note is the police were asked not to attend the meeting. Wonder why that was. Bob and his attacks on my wife and me have come to a point where I have to be very careful when I go out in public, because I never know if I will come in contact with one of Bob's goons. I believe that if I did meet one of them, it would not be a fun time for me. Bob has already told people that if he met me on the street, he would take me out. That statement is not made up. It was actually recorded. I do not feel safe walking the dogs down our street because I don't know if one of Bob's goons will come along and be successful in the nudging me into the water-filled ditch or even running over and killing our dog. Another point of concern that I have is I have been told that at least one board member has threatened to shoot a neighbor's dog. I hope that this is not true, but it was told to me by a long-time and highly respected member of our community. I have also been told that Bob and Janet have permits to carry. That is another reason I do not feel safe being out in public without others around in case something does happen. This is not the life I wanted to have in my golden years, but it is the life I and others in the community have to live. I will continue to take photos and videos of local events when I feel it is safe to do so. The main difference now is that I usually ask friends to be with me so that I'm not alone and it does not come down to a he said police report. Remember, Bob has already received one letter of warning from the Sheboygan County prosecuting attorney for his actions, and this warning was not issued because of a complaint from me, but because another citizen of the township was concerned enough about Bob's action that they felt compelled to take action and file a complaint with the Michigan State Police. Bob, during an official police investigation, has refused to take a lie detector test when asked to do so by the Michigan State Police, which is his right, but why not take the test if you are telling the truth? I also believe that Bob, at last count, has more than 8 open investigations ongoing. That seems like quite a few for a township official who's still in his first term. For all of the above reasons, I believe Bob is a very dangerous individual. And once again, all of this is happening so that Bob can show everyone in this community what will happen to any of you who will not get on board or get out of the way. And if this is happening at the public meetings, I find it hard to imagine what is going on behind the locked doors of Bob's private little fortress. Thank you for watching.